So I see the water coming out of the drain, and I got a very eerie feeling about that because I never seen the water come out the drain. I've always seen the water go down the drain, but never out the drain.
And when the father called him into the room to come pray with them, as soon as he got up and left the room, a tree crashed through his son's bedroom.
And he heard the alarm go off, so he went to see why that had happened. And halfway down the stairs, he met this water.
Worked so hard for this working life, and it's all gone in a flash.
The water kept rising.
As a Category 3 hurricane, still packing deadly winds as strong as 125 miles per hour.
Because no place to go. This traffic is not moving, you don't have the gas, and they are crying and they're begging that can you provide some milk for our children.
Across Louisiana and Mississippi, there were urgent orders to evacuate.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is not a test.
I'm laying on the sofa, and Katrina came through, and ooh.
It's not only that all these, government was not much prepared. I think FEMA also learned the lesson after that people were like here, a field office, these grounds, these baseball stadium. Similarly in Southern University, a few miles from here, there are stadiums over there. Every place which was empty, it was full of people. Car without gas, they were stuck, and those people with the children, you know, when for many hours you have no supply, no water, children are crying for milk. So all of a sudden, just within 24 hours, the situation, a very lively city, lively state, it all it becomes so chaotic and desperate and frustration, and you could see the chaos.
There's Kentwood bottle trucks, beer trucks, Coca-Cola trucks, and people are living inside of these trucks on the bridge. Never seen nothing like that before.
I mean, very, very rich people, but they were just sitting with everybody, with the taxi drivers and millionaires. They were just sitting together, sleeping on the cots in the same place. There was no difference. It's like it didn't matter how much money you had or how little you had. At that time, they were all in the same boat.
This was a time when it didn't matter how much money you had. It had no value. Either we wanted to help you or we didn't.
And you might have seen the football game when it ends, but if there are 100,000 people after 1 hour, 2, 3, 4 hours, that's different. But if people are there for 2 days, 3 days, and no place to go, you can imagine that what happens.
As the reports began to come in, how devastating that particular situation was in New Orleans, and so it was during perhaps that evening or that night that it really set in that we had a problem.
Katrina blasted into New Orleans, the most powerful hurricane the Crescent City has seen in modern history. And this monster storm lived up to its billing. New Orleans downtown was strewn with downed trees.
Anybody who came, Muslim and non-Muslim, it's natural that when disaster come, everybody run to their home. So Muslims came to Islamic Center, Catholics went to their churches. But on our side there was no discrimination, but it's natural that it was 95% Muslim who came over here. But from when people heard the news that over there things they can get, anybody who came Alhamdulillah, we treated them with respect and dignity, and whatever things were there, they were provided.
What happened was that we saw brothers and sisters from New Orleans call us, and as well as non-Muslim, calling us for a place that they want to, if we can house them, because there is no food, there is no shelter, there is nothing. They have absolutely nothing. There is everything that they have is underwater. So they barely escape with their clothes, not even with their money. So as part of our Islam, part of our deen, when the humanity is hurting, we have to respond to that hurt. And what we did, we opened our masjid at Masjid Noor for anyone to come in there and take shelter. And we provided the food, and we tried to collect money to give them some kind of money so that they can take care of some of the daily needs.
First, I opened my home. I had a 3-bedroom apartment, and many other people opened their home.
Well, this is the last place I'm thinking people are going to be.
There were a bunch of people in Masjid Noor, Masjid by the LSU. And we needed to be able to feed them.
We went out to places that I knew, landlords and people that had apartment complexes, and I just said, okay, how many you got? We want to lock this down. And we began to put deposits down where we could, and so by that evening, I think we may have locked down maybe about 40, 50 apartments, for the families that were going to be needing apartments.
The Muslim community was there. The Muslim community was there, opening up their masajid, opening up their homes, feeding people, offering emotional support to people, and not just because they were Muslims, but to everyone, and to their neighbors, to their fellow citizens. And this was, something that, we could even see from Knoxville, Tennessee. And from a practical standpoint, we had displaced people that busloads came to Knoxville. And there was actually a shelter was established in Knoxville for people who were displaced by Hurricane Katrina.
58 years of 5 decades of the work as our forefathers and uncles and aunties, those who had a dream and had a vision to do something in America. And I would say they were very influential in a way that a vision to do something at home, which we call it home here, because alhamdulillah, home is not where your grandfather and grandparent born. Home is, I consider, where your parent, yourself and your children going to be born and raising their life now. So we are one to make sure their legacy, the people, those who started the journey many, many years ago, they build Islamic centers and institutions. And ICNA is, as such, the biggest organization in America right now. We're serving thousands, not thousands, millions of people now.
Disaster Relief Services was initiated long ago through the Islamic Circle of North America. It was redefined in 2005 after Hurricane Katrina. Through our disaster relief program, we help thousands of individuals and families stand back up after a disaster, stand back up after a devastation that has struck their lives that really they were not expecting. And this is where ICNA Relief comes in at that low point in their life.
ICNA relief individuals came. Matter of fact, they cut down my fig tree. Like this, I had to get the stump cut up, but they came in and helped us take out all the damaged stuff because I had over 6 feet of water inside my house.
At the end of the day, when the owner of the home came, to see, how we were doing with helping her clean up her home, she didn't have any family to help her, and she was really, I could see that she was really struck by Muslims coming to help her. She's not Muslim. She, talked to us, oh, I'm from Knoxville, I'm from Florida, and she said, and you all came just to help me? And we said, yeah, this is what our religion calls upon us to do, our faith, to help people in need. So, we're just here to help you. And she was really, you could see, that she was struck by that. And, I thought to myself, this is really dawah in action. This is really showing people the beauty and the light of Islam. So I think you interviewed our CEO. He was working in the field at that time. And I told him, I said, I think I'd like to get a little bit more involved with this. And from there, subhanAllah.
So from the onset of Hurricane Katrina, I learned that ICNA Relief, that was one of their first disaster responses, and they came into the city. And not only did they help people to, rebuild, but they also helped to restore the dignity of the city.
I studied social work, and that's where I met Miss Kanika. And from there, I feel like she was a woman guided by her faith, and I was a woman guided by my faith, and we ended up serving the populations that we wanted to. I wanted to serve refugees and the most vulnerable communities, and she wanted to serve the homeless. And now together we're working on that, still many years later. And sometimes I may wake up and I get a donation of a whole truck, and obviously I cannot move a whole truck. And where am I gonna move it to? So I accept it, and a few minutes later, I make a couple of calls, communicate with a few people, and the community comes together. And they don't ask questions, why, or I don't know if I can do this. They just say, we are there, we got it. And a lot of you are here.
ICNA cares for everybody, and they take care of anyone regardless of their religious background, anything. They are people who love and serve humanity, which is very important. And yet they don't make any distinction, and no one should in doing charitable work, and they do a fabulous job.
I was driving around making assessments, and there was a single home sitting back behind the office buildings facing the track. And I stopped at that house and knocked on the door, and the guy had been without electricity for 3 or 4 days, and he said he had nobody come help him, and he had been there his whole life. But I've never seen a happier person.
There was a family that we were helping at their home. The home was flooded up to the roof. So we came in and we spoke to the family, and we assessed the situation, assessed the property, and found that we can definitely help this family. So we gathered volunteers and gathered many people within our staff, and volunteers throughout the country came into North Carolina that year. The first day that we got there, I could tell that the conversation was a little awkward, and I believe it's because we were in that rural area where they just never met a Muslim before. And after 3 days of working at that house, when we were about to leave, I could see the tear in her eye. I could see that new perspective when it comes to, how the Muslim community acts and reacts to situations. And I believe that just literally just made everything that she had heard about Islam turn upside down in a split second.
He is an army veteran, served in Iraq, and he hated Muslims. He had nothing good about Muslims, but he said that after Gustav, that has changed my perception. Now there was a negative glasses on my eyes. Use something word like that I was just seeing everything negatively. But now I see the reality, and now I realize that the teaching, Islamic teaching, and the Muslim as a people, they are good people.
In Tuscaloosa, Alabama, we respond to the tornadoes there. And we were given a work order to go cut some trees in the back of a lady's house where the trees fell and it was all crisscross.
And as we walk into the front yard, she was standing behind her screen door. And the expression on her face was a mixture of emotions. And I didn't realize until afterwards why she looked that way, because the first 3 people to walk into the yard looks like me. And I didn't say anything to her. We went in the back, we did our job. Afterward, as we were leaving, she ran out of the house. And she grabbed me, put her head on my shoulder, and started crying. And he said, "I want to apologize." I said, "I'm sorry, ma'am, but you didn't do anything." She said, "Yes, I did. I misjudged you people. I just looked at you and I misjudged you guys. And I want to apologize for that."
It's an honor for us to have all of you here. We don't want them to come and receive service and over and be, the part of the change. We want them to empower them so they can be a positive member of society, and those people, those who come to ICNA Relief many years ago as a client, alhamdulillah, now they're volunteers, and most of them, they're donors, because they believe the services they received many years ago, it was so valuable, they wanted to give back to themselves, then they'd be part of the journey.
Helping our neighbors, helping our friends, our fellow Muslim brothers and sisters, and just making a difference in our society.
Disaster response, disaster relief transcends culture, transcends religion. It goes beyond all of that. It doesn't matter who you are, what religion you are, what language you speak. If you're there to help, that's what counts.